Over. Thought I knew this neighborhood. Not as well as I thought I did, apparently. Yeah, I guess thinking back now and looking at it in my face, with my face, something. Yeah, only the Creston Plaza connects to here. Noted for future reference, I guess. For when I'm trying to take the most tortured back way through here again. Anyway, hi YouTube. Plan for today is to go ride some bike lanes that we haven't used very much. In general, the royal we, I mean, I haven't used them very much. Which of course means you haven't seen very much of them, at least not on my channel. And yeah, we're taking a pretty roundabout way to get to both of them because, God forbid, any of these bike lanes connect to downtown. That would just be silly. Giving people a route to get where they want to go on their bicycles. Who would? Who would ever? So yeah, at least for a bit here, we're going to be doing the Monroe Avenue bike lane, as we do all too often. But it's a good one. Unlike some of these others, it does get me to downtown and back. Or vice versa, which is far more common since I live down there. Anyway, it's a hot one today. So I'm sorry if I sweat on you, YouTube. I can already tell I'm coming real close. Definitely got some sweat on the camera, just not on the lens yet. Not that I could tell anyway. Maybe this wasn't the best day for the chest mounts. Too late now. Plus, if I'm honest with the chest mount, almost everything I'm going to show you is going to be out the front lens anyway. So it's fine. A little bit of sweat on the back lens. You might notice it if I decide to go ultra wide, or if I decide to point you at me and so you can see my horrendously distorted fisheye lens face. All right, gotta remember what I'm doing. I am not going to Riverside Park today. No, we're gonna come close. But instead of rolling into the park, we're gonna do some climbing, at least initially. I know this road in general is pretty hilly, but it has been a while since I've ridden a bike down it. So I'm not sure how much of a struggle this is going to be. They put into some work into these bike lanes over here. I just usually don't touch them because, again, the way I'm coming, it's a hard climb immediately. And I really don't have any reason to go over there, so why? But today we're doing it for YouTube. You're welcome. Guess it's not that hard to climb, but it is a climb and an unnecessary one. Yeah, as you can see, not curb protected, but pretty close. So that's nice. Particularly when you've got to climb and you know you've got cars coming up behind you. It's nice to know that there isn't any slowly building road rage because your muscles aren't strong enough. No turn signal makes me fucking nervous. Pretty sure he wasn't going to turn right into me based on how slow he was going, but still, fucking signal ass. Well, I wasn't quite planning on it, but here's a little Plainfield Avenue bike lane. Get some nice shade here. So I guess I should pay better attention. I thought that right I made was on the Knapp, but this is Knapp. That might have been, was that Ann Street? That might have been Ann Street. Okay. Yeah, that's Ann Street. That's exactly what that is. I was crowing about the bike lane on the other side of that stoplight for weeks. Yeah. Okay, so Ann Street then dead ends into Plainfield, which takes me up to Knapp. All bike lane connected, which is nice. Again, I had to go way out of my way to get those bike lane connections, but they're doable. And some of them are pretty nice bike lanes. This one's kind of trashed, but it's wide. So, you know, I'll take what I can get. To give you an idea, what is that intersection at Tropical Smoothie Cafe? I believe it's Eastern. And we're about to cross that again. This is Diamond, which is right next to Eastern. So yeah, we'll get across here. And the next big intersection should be Eastern. And that's basically where we started. To give you an idea of how far around we had to go. It's obviously the difference between Eastern and Michigan or Eastern and Knapp. But given proper bike infrastructure, I could have just come right down the street. And to be fair, even without it, I've done it before. So I know what it's like. And that's one of the reasons I'm not doing it now. You know what? I was wrong. I think Diamond is the intersection. Either that or Eastern doesn't make it all the way down here. Because this is Fuller. And this is the last bike lane I was going for. It's also one of the last big cross streets going across Michigan, so I always remember it. Gotta keep still, bouncing around. And that hill's perfect. It's just fast enough to get me up to about max cadence. On this bike anyway. It'll be a lot less fun going the other way, but again, it's not aggressive, so it won't be awful. But yeah, these bike lanes were really my main goal here. I unfortunately drive through here quite a bit, and I've always loved these bike lanes, but they're far enough away and not really connected, so I never really bothered riding over here. I wanted to show you, YouTube, and didn't want to show you from the driver's seat of a car. Because that's just gross. Unlike me sweating all over my camera. That's just nature. All right, we're gonna go all the way down to Plainfield and see what we can see. I think there's a bike lane up this far. To the right, there's definitely not. To the left, maybe. I know there's one close enough that I might be willing to just sprint down there and get to it. I might actually, now that I'm thinking about it, stop at this gas station for a snack real quick. Didn't bring a lock with me, but I'll bet they'll be okay with me bringing my bike in. If not, I'll survive. I've got enough water to get me through. And plenty of other gas stations to try. Oh, what? Oh, fuck. They put a bike lane in. Here I am using the sidewalk like an asshole. Oh, but it stops right here, though. Yep. Not getting past the highway like that. I haven't seen a Pook in a while. I think I took a picture of the last one I saw in Chicago. That was at least a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years ago when I was visiting for critical mass. I had a friend group in middle school who was really into those things. I guess we go Sands bike lane for a little bit here. Nothing too serious. Particularly not with Sunday traffic. I can get around them. Bike repair station. I'm gonna have to try to remember that one. I don't feel like stopping for it right now. That's been one of my projects this summer, is finding as many local bike repair stations as I can and tagging them on Google Maps. If only for my own convenience, honestly. Trying to figure out what kind of bike that was. Looks like a pretty low-cost mountain bike. It's got front suspension, so it's not like a full-on commuter bike. I like the matte black paint scheme though, that's nice. Fooled me into thinking it was a nicer bike than it was. All right. No trails today, YouTube. It's kind of rare for me lately. We are all city streets and bike lanes today. And I guess the occasional sidewalk when I didn't realize there was a bike lane there. That reminds me, I touched human feces up here earlier this week or last week, I guess, depending on how you count it. It's Sunday, so you can count it either way. But pro tip, if you see a plastic bag in the middle of the bike lane, don't fucking touch that shit. And I mean literal shit. Don't fucking touch it. Leave it there. Get around it. There are things you should get out of the bike lane. That isn't one of them. Just leave that be. Case in point, a little bit of cardboard here. 0 to no chance I touch human feces moving that. So we'll get it out of the way. If you can, try to get it to a receptacle. But I already happen to know from moving some cardboard off of here about a week ago that there is no convenient receptacle for like another 3/4 of a mile. So I don't need the extra wind resistance today.